So Jensen Harkins got recalled, a guy we've talked about extensively. He's had a massive season for you guys. What was it like, for your club to see a guy like that that's worked and done the hard work get the recall?
It's amazing. It sends the right message to the whole team, to the prospects, to the younger players, and to everyone. If you do the right things over and over and over, and you work hard, and you're a good teammate, and you understand what you bring to the hockey club, at some point there's a chance you will get rewarded. And Jensen, you know what, his progression since day one has been consistent. His effort in the gym, on the ice, in practices has been close to perfect. He's been coachable, and he worked so hard at his craft, at getting better every year. In the summer, he comes back here and he has great testing results. So for him to get the call up, I'm just gonna say it from my perspective, it's a great achievement. Not talking about me, but talking about an organization drafting and investing time. And we're talking about assistant coaches, Marty and Eric Dubois. We're talking about Mike Keane and Jimmy Roy and the scouts that saw the potential. For him to get called up today, it's amazing. When I was, you go and talk to a player. It's a long answer, I get it, but you go and talk to a player. Hey, listen, you're gonna get called up. You're excited for some players, but going to see Jensen Harkins and tell him, hey, the Jets are gonna call you up. That was a great moment in my life, anyway.
Just for that, it kind of seems like a rite of passage in hockey that when someone gets their first recall, it's a big deal for everyone involved.
Yeah.
But with this one, it seems to be a bit more special with Jensen. Do you mind just speaking to what his reaction was when you let him know?
Well, he was pretty excited. You could tell. He said, "Whoa!" He was. That's a big day in my life. And you have to remember, this guy was sent in the East Coast to play some games and in the past, and then we wanted to use our East Coast Hockey League team to make sure that we keep our players fit to play games or gain some confidence back. And we knew he was a good player in junior, but to adapt your game from the junior level to the pro level, whether it's the American League or the National League, there's some adjustment, and he worked really hard at it. He spent, I believe, 6 games in the East Coast, and what a great story. Now, who knows if he's going to play, but that's the first step, right? So you get called up, maybe you play, maybe you don't. At some point, I don't know, he might get sent down, play some more, and then the second chance, and who knows what's going to happen. But, last time I told Jack Roslovic that he was being called up, I told him, I don't want to see you again with the Moose, and he never came back, so I don't know. I told that to Jensen this morning. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's been a great story.
Eric Comrie's joined the organization. Not a surefire that he comes back down here, but still a very popular guy that's back in the fold. What was your reaction to seeing that?
Well, you know what? We're going to see what's going to happen. I spoke to him yesterday when I found out. We were flying back from Denver yesterday, and in between flights, I called Eric and I told him we were excited to get him back. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but for now he's ours, and he was pretty excited. Eric Comrie is, Paul said it right, he's he's in the top 5 human being you're going to meet in your life, and he's a positive guy, and he was just the same.
Now, in the event he does come back down, is there a more ideal partner than Eric Comrie for Mikael Burton?
Is there a better partner for any goalies than Eric Comrie? I don't know, and I don't think so. He's a hard-working guy, great team player, very positive, super intelligent, can talk to dressing room. He can stand up in the dressing room and be a real good leader. So he's that'd be a good combination for sure.
CJC's he's really picked up his offensive game. It's come in spurts. It's been up and down here, I guess, offensively, but he's been consistent defensively. Is the key for him to bring that offensive game to a more consistent level?
Yeah, you'd like him to get the numbers more, I don't want to say more consistently, but he does the right things all the time. Everybody makes mistakes. We all do. Having said that, he never makes the mistake of not working hard. He's playing a solid 200-foot game. He's really good on the PK. He's been making some plays on the power play. He's been playing solid hockey for us for a while now. And you know what? It's almost like you wish for those guys to score more often, but he's creating those chances, that's for sure.
Pascal, you're coming up kind of the holiday break, close to the midway point of your season. When you look back on from the start of the season, training camp to now, how would you sort of recap sort of this first part of your season?
It's almost like it was in 3 segments. The first part of the season, we were reactive to what was going on. I mean, the trickle-down effect of Byfuglien not coming to camp and then everything that happened around him. But that had some effect on us, obviously. But the biggest one was, I'll remember, is when Eric Comrie got claimed off waivers by Arizona. We were ready to go on the ice. He was getting ready. He was all dressed up in the dressing room, and we were just waiting for the call to start practice. And we moved the practice time on that day because we were waiting for him to get waived off. And when we found out as a team, and just to tell you the impact he's had on our team, the team went, it's almost like you knocked them out. And it took some time for us to recover from that as an organization, as a team, the Moose, I want to say. So our start of the season wasn't great. It's not only one thing or two things. We couldn't score goals, or we were giving up a lot of scoring chances against. But the emotional level of our team was off, and then we figured it out, and then we found a way. The transition to Burden, the different goalie, he plays the puck every single time, so we had to adjust our routes. So that's the first part, and then we weren't very successful, but we weren't as bad as our record was showing. And then we started to win 1 game, 2 games, and then we started to score some more goals, and then the confidence got there. But in the last 34 days, we were on the road 27 days. And we knew that would be a part of the season where it would be really difficult. First road trip was fine. And then the last few games, we were just, you're going to get hit with one guy gets sick. And then all of a sudden, you have 4 guys that are sick, and then some injuries, some call-ups, and stuff like that. So I would say 3 segments. The start of the season, kind of readjusting. Then we got really good, really confident, and then hitting the road trips the 2 recent ones, especially the last one, is the last part. And then those 2 games before the Christmas break starts, to me, it's going to be 2 important games to get back on the right track. Because where we are this year is better than where we were last year, and we had a good second half. But we're in a position to fight for a playoff spot, and that's where we want it to be.
And talking a little bit about those, the probably revolving door, it feels like a little bit of players going up and down with all the injuries with the Jets. From following hockey in the past couple of years, I've noticed that, to me, this seems like a little bit more the normal for an AHL team to an NHL team. So talk a little bit about, the challenges that's, put on your team in terms of that, in terms of players coming up and down.
Yeah, that's why we exist, right? That's the nature of our business in the American League. It's to get players ready to get called up and to, at the same time, try to win as many games as possible, having a winning culture. But yes, there's the turnover. That's the one thing when I took the job with the Moose. One of my question was, what's my biggest challenge as a coach? And they said the player turnover. It's consistent, and it's true with the Moose. It's going to be true everywhere else you go. But the player turnover is at times it gets crazy. At this time last year, there was some players I didn't even know their first name. They got called up, and we had to play them the same night because we had so many injuries. But it's the reality of our league, and to me personally, it makes us way better as coaches because you have to consistently adjust to new players. Teach the system, so you force yourself to try to simplify everything consistently, and at the same time you're trying to win hockey games. But yeah, it's pretty intense right now, but that's part of the business we're in.
Could you shed some light on the process of these ECHL PTOs? Obviously, sometimes they're not directly recalled from Jacksonville, and I believe it's Bruce Southern as your ECHL scout. I'm not too sure if that's still the case, but what's the process from your point of view of these guys coming in and out game-by-game basis?
So Zinger is the boss, right? He's
Right.
he's our man, and he's a GM, and he has a list, and he's working with different guys. So we evaluate all players in the East Coast Hockey League with their teams, and whoever is not under contract, those people are on our list, and we evaluate them. So Jacksonville is certainly where we want to get players from, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be only Jacksonville. And sometimes great players are being signed by other teams, but they're not on anybody's list in the American League, so we get the opportunity to call them. And Zinger has such a great relationship with all those people, and he's a hard-working man. He's worked hard at creating those relationships, and he knows about them. So we have a few guys that are working for the team, and we rely on those guys and to Craig Eisinger as far as call-ups. But it's our East Coast Hockey League team is there to develop some of our prospects, for sure, but it's also there to send some of our players in the American League to go and play there and play a lot of minutes, just like the Jets would with us. And great examples are Ben Sherratt was sent in the East Coast back then, and now he's a regular player in the National League and a good one. And guys like Jensen Harkins, Burden was last year. We used the East Coast as an option for him to play minutes. So that's what it's used for, and that's how we use it. We want to work together, Jets, Moose, and Jacksonville, and have a good relationship between the three. But when we need a player, it doesn't have to come from Jacksonville either.
Does that strain the relationship at all with Jacksonville if you're taking someone that's not on the ice? Like, does that strain the relationship with Jason Christie or whoever else if you're taking guys from external measures, or not at all?
No, it doesn't have to be. We speak to Smurf. We call him Smurf, and Zinger will speak consistently, and it doesn't have to be. We try to bring the best players possible for our team, and it's always I guess my answer is every situation is unique, so we'll adjust to whatever we're facing.